Hey guys, it's Lorraine, your down home realtor, and I know I haven't done a video in a little while on the garden, but I'm going to talk about a couple things today. One of the things is we had a strange year in the outside garden this year. The weather was brutal. We had late winter snows down here, and then we had a monsoon season that was unreal. Then we started to dry out. Some of the seeds germinated, some of them did not. Some of the plants got to harvest and some did not. So I also caved this year and started a city version of a greenhouse in the backyard. I'm hoping to extend our season and get things a little more protected. Hail was also an issue this year. We had a lot of hail. So it's been a challenging gardening year, but we did get some plants to harvest time. And today we're going to talk about sunflowers. Because the birds helped me out this year. They planted what they wanted. I did not plant sunflowers out there, but I seem to be ready to harvest a few plants, and I know the birds did it. Also, we started to investigate a source of food besides our home garden, and that's called foraging. Up in the Rocky Mountains, there is a ton of food that is available if you know what you're doing, and this is where I'm going to put out my disclaimer. Do not pick anything or eat anything in the Rocky Mountains without getting expert training. And I myself am taking classes from experts. So I'm very, very discriminate about what I pick. And one of the bushes that is ripe right now up in south of Glenwood Springs, the Alpine area, is service berries. And they have about another week or so. But we were camping a couple weeks ago. And the service berries were so delicious. They were everywhere up there. And so Ted and I picked about 10 pounds, put them in our camper. I brought them home and started canning them for the winter. And that's the joy of it. I mean, I had 10 pounds of free berries that are magnificent. And now we have jars of jam for the rest of the winter. I made two kinds. I did this one. The larger ones have the pulp and seeds in them. The seeds are edible. And the smaller ones, I used a machine to extract the seeds, and these are seedless. So now we have jars of incredible foraged berries. And they're service berries. This stuff you can eat right out of the jar, but it's also fantastic to make glazes for chicken, fish, anything like that. So this is just a resource beyond our home gardens. And there's lots of stuff up there in the Rocky Mountains once you start getting the training and work with the experts. And we have some really, really good experts up in Fairplay and Denver that can help you out. And there's a lot of classes out there. So if anybody's interested, you can contact me. But back to my sunflower. The birds helped themselves to the seeds out of the feeder, dropped them in the ground, and I ended up with these beautiful, huge sunflowers. So the way to know that they're ready for harvest is, one, they were heavy and drooping over like this. But for a few weeks, they're still very, very green on top. As these leaves start to turn brown and crusty, and the top starts to get very, very yellow, and sometimes even brown, now you're ready for harvest. So you just clip them at the back here. This one was ready. The other thing about this plant is because the birds planted it, it's called a black oily sunflower. And this is not the best one for humans. This one is black without the white lines in it, and it's got a softer shell. That's why they put it in the bird feeders. And it's also oilier, so the birds love them, and they will eat the heck out of these to plump up for winter. But I can harvest them and show you how I would do the human kind, which is going to have plumper seeds and white stripes. And it's all harvested the same way. So I'll get these today for the birds. But if I was going to have one that I cooked for us, I would do the same thing. They have these little flower ends on them right here that will just come off if you rub it like this. So go ahead and get rid of those. And then the seeds will start falling out. But you can just take a chunk of it at a time and brush it, and the seeds will fall. So just extract them, collect them on a paper. And then if these were the kind that I was going to cook for us, I would soak them overnight in a salt brine solution, then lay them out on a cookie tray and bake them in the oven at about 300 for about 30 to 40 minutes. And then you have magnificent sunflower seeds for baking or for just eating, trail mix. These ones I'm gonna collect and put them back out for the birds. They're gonna be filling up for winter. So that's kind of the difference in the two sunflower seeds. And it's kind of fun to harvest. It's cool. You know, I wish they were ours. I wish they were ones for us to eat. Maybe next year I'll plant some for us. But that's it for the garden. The other issues we've dealt with this year, a lack of bees. I've planted a ton of flowering bushes in the garden to try to attract bees. That's part of what the problem was. We didn't get things pollinated. Other than that, we're doing okay. It's almost winter time. We're about 4 weeks from getting frost down here. So yeah, that's about it. But I will say we're pretty stoked about collecting the service berries, and this is going to be an annual trip for us. I can guarantee that, because we're going to go through the jars that I collected and canned. We'll be finished with them by spring. So I'll be ready for the next late summer harvest of service berries. So anybody has any questions on the foraging, the service berries, canning, give me a call.